It is an honor to have with us today also the Ambassador of Bosnia-Herzegovina to Hungary for more than half a decade, Her Excellency Biljana Gutic-Bjelica, a former ambassador to Canada too.
Thank you, everyone. Hello. Thank you, the Equilibrium Institute, for honoring me with the invitation to be a speaker at today's conference. And thank you for organizing this important and timely conference with provocative yet true title of both the conference and this panel as well. For many decades, even centuries, the Balkans have been perceived as the region of high confrontation of not only domestic internal factors and actors, but also as a playground of great powers. It looks like it still provokes political and geopolitical discussion, sometimes for good reasons and sometimes for not so. Being Ambassador of Bosnia to Hungary, it is not up to me to talk about other Western Balkans countries, and since my honorable colleague gave the broad picture of the region, I will focus on Bosnia and Herzegovina today. Bosnia and Herzegovina is perceived now as a disobedient child in a permanent political crisis, despite all the foreign intervention, or maybe because of it. Today, Bosnia and Herzegovina, or its acronym B&H, is experiencing the greatest political crisis since the Dayton, which is getting more complicated every day. Why? Because almost none of the foreign interventions produced any sustainable results. There's no foreign recipe for hot Bosnian pot. It has to be made of domestic ingredients, spices, and hands. The Dayton Peace Agreement saw Bosnia and Herzegovina as a state union of two equal and highly independent entities and three peoples in decentralized, consensus-based, power-sharing system known as consociationalism. And today, thanks to some lobbyists and PR supported from inside and outside the country, that are creating somewhat a false image of Bosnia and Herzegovina. We see it as a union highly divided, where one of three constituent peoples is politically outvoting the other two, making them dissatisfied and bitter, both politically, but also socially and culturally. The Dayton and its Annex 10 also perceived presence of the High Representative, the High Representative to be approved by the UN Security Council, and its office, the OHR, Office of High Representative, is to oversee the civilian implementation of the Dayton Peace Agreement, not to be a sovereign ruler of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and above its legally and democratically elected leaders. And that is what has been happening for most of the time since 2007. Talking about Bosnia and Herzegovina and European Union relations, the perspective was confirmed in Thessaloniki more than 20 years ago in June 2003. Membership application submitted by Bosnia and Herzegovina, February 2016. Candidate status granted December 2022. Screened and negotiation commands not yet applicable, no matter how strong support we receive from some of the EU member states such as Hungary, Croatia, Austria, and some others. Talking about Bosnia and Herzegovina and NATO relations, there is no internal consensus for full membership. However, Bosnia and Herzegovina and NATO share a strong partnership, working to further improve and intensify cooperation with focus on providing assistance for democratic, institutional, security, and defense reforms. Bosnia and Herzegovina cooperation with NATO is structured through the reform programs and coordination between ministries and agencies is led by the Bosnia-Herzegovina Commission for Cooperation with NATO, providing continuant and active role in implementation of reforms. So, what would be the long-run sustainable remedy for Bosnia and Herzegovina? They want to be attained in a more difficult, but also far more self-sustainable way. Internal, but also public and open dialogue of domestic actors and decision makers. This is what was claimed and stated by 3 out of 5 permanent UN Security Council members at the special session dedicated to Bosnia and Herzegovina and held on May the 6th of this year. Internal dialogue, internal compromise, internal agreement of domestic and domestic actors only. Let's stop political persecution of the democratically elected leaders, led by the Constitutional Court, where 30 years after the war, we still have 3 foreign judges, while 3 vacant spots reserved for domestic judges are still vacant a year and a half after. Let's try taking the Hungarian stand, give advice, no imposing, talk to and with domestic leaders, not about them. Let's make Bosnia and Herzegovina truly sovereign again. Thank you for your kind attention.